themselves and figure out how they can become better. You are up here literally downplaying them, calling them Fefails simply because they are a mom without a father in the household, as if they don't already know that, as if there aren't already people who are constantly telling them that. They know that. What does that do for you on this panel? Like, how does that affect you? You say you're happy, you say you're married, your kids are going to grow up in a stable household. Why do you sit here on this panel and make them feel less than for their decision? What does that do for you? Other than just put
I
them
will
down
tell
and make
you,
them
I
even
will
more
tell you,
depressed.
I will tell you. Now, the first answer is no, I'm not the reason why they're unaliving themselves. I will tell you the reason why they're unaliving themselves. Because when you take a look at 42% of all children in a single mom household are considered poverty stricken. That's why a lot of them are unaliving themselves. I told you about the 71% more likely to be maltreated, 62% more likely to be neglected, 59% more likely to sustain physical injury. That's why 1.4 million children reside in a single mom household are have what's it called? AB with alcohol. 65% of all adolescent patients in chemical AB programs are products of single mom household. Children from fatherless homes are 10 times more likely to use smugs. Children in fatherless households are 20 times more likely to be incarcerated. So trust me, I'm not the problem here, Hope. I am far from the problem. I know it may seem like I'm so huge, but I'm really not. There's actually bigger issues. There's actually bigger issues that a lot of these single moms are dealing with, and their
Okay.
children and their baby dads. So those are actually the real reasons why. And I haven't even spoken about their mental health, which is also just as bad.
Right. So again, so I didn't say you were the reason. I said you were part of that problem. And so like you have to still keep in mind, yes, these are things, these are called adverse experiences that people go through. So like everything that you're speaking on, you have to understand. I don't even know if you understand epigenetics. So you have to know that these are generational things that they are like that are perpetuated in their families. So you can't sit on here and just constantly like bash them, bash them, bash them, and then be like, well, this is their fault. They should have known better. They should have known better. This is how I know you don't even understand the real behind what you be speaking on. You just be up here speaking. And it's so, and my biggest thing with it isn't even the fact that you're speaking on them.
So then,
It's
okay,
the
then. So why
why
don't they?
behind you speaking on them,
So
because you
why
say
don't?
you're
So
happy,
why
you
don't?
say
Hold
you're a
on, hold
happily
on,
married
hold on.
woman, but you're speaking on
Hold
people
on.
who you
Yes, I
say
will
are not
speak.
happy.
Yes, I'll
Why?
happily speak on it. Yes,
What does
because
that do for you though?
first of all, I am a content creator, and I'm gonna debate females who think this is logical. Now, it doesn't matter how much you want to say I'm part of the problem, but I'm really not.
You are
The
though.
problem is, let me tell you, the problem is that these females don't want to keep their legs closed. That's the problem, not me talking about it. The problem is a lot of their daughters and their sons are running rampage on the streets, becoming criminals.
Right.
That's what the
Okay.
problem is. If it
Mhm.
was up to me, I would say keep your legs closed.
Okay.
For years, they've been telling females, keep your legs closed. Marry before you carry. Before Remnant Princess ever existed.
Okay.
Before I was even ever born in this world. For years, people have always pushed, marry before you carry. Make sure the man is your husband. Don't give the milk for free. These things existed before even my existence was even a thought. Okay, this has happened for years. And they've told women especially after the sexual liberation, they made them contraception, they gave them ABs, they gave them their rights. This didn't happen when I was born. So I'm not part of the problem. I'm far from the problem. So how come years of advice has never worked?
This advice isn't given to one, it's not given to everyone. Two, there's a that's lack of education. So you have to understand when you lack in a certain area, for example, if I'm and I'm using me as an example, I'm not this, but if I'm a single mom, right? And I'm raising a daughter. 9 times out of 10, because my daughter has never seen a man in the household, of course she's not going to know how to approach men and things like that. Because as a single mother, I probably have never done that, or I never have seen it. So you can't, like, that's what I'm saying when I'm saying it's a generational cycle. You can't be mad at that little girl for growing up not knowing when there's nobody there to
So
teach
what
her
did
how
she?
to.
So did she not know that? So she didn't know how babies are made. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying she doesn't know how babies are made.
So
I'm
if
saying
we
she
know, so
doesn't know how
if
relationships work
okay,
with
no, before
men when she's never
relationships,
seen it.
before we talk about relationships, did she not know that if you open your legs, there's a chance you're gonna get pregnant?
What does that
Answer
has
the
nothing
question
to
for
do with
me.
keeping a
Oh, no, no,
stable
no, no. Answer
relationship.
the question for me. Did she not know that she will most likely get pregnant if she opens her legs?
Most people know that typically.
Okay, then. So if most people know this typically, then it's a choice that they made. They chose to spread their legs open and risk getting pregnant because they wanted to get their cheeks clapped.
Right, but your point of view of saying it's because they wanted to get their cheeks clapped is not reality. The reality is, and this goes into my part about the relationship. Because she grew up in a single mother household, she never seen a man in her house. So she does not know how to approach, how to talk to, how to build relationships with men. And if she does not know that, what is she going to do? She's going to keep repeating the cycle because
Okay,
she's going
then.
to
So,
think,
Hope.
oh, I
So,
can do it, get out here and I can try to figure it out on my own. And 9 times out of 10, she's going to fail at doing it. But
okay,
that
then.
you
So,
can't blame her for that.
all
That's
right.
the
So
product
let's
of
let's
her
talk
environment.
about. So what we're gonna
She's a
say.
product of her environment.
You're gonna say it's not her fault, right? But we understand that women in Western society are the most privileged. Would you agree with that?
Hmm.
Okay, then. So for women that are the most privileged in society, can you not actually go out and learn things for yourself in today's society?
Sure, of course you
All
can.
right, then. So, would you agree that a lot of the younger generation from after the 90s, so after the 90s, that's when the internet became a thing. That's when YouTube, Facebook, MySpace, and ever since then it's been growing. And it's been decades after that. Would you say that a lot of this generation between millennials and Gen Z and even Gen Alpha have access to internet from young?
That's true, yes.
All right, then. So if you have all this access to information, then we can't say you didn't know. You didn't care to know. How come they're able to learn about everything else? How come they're able to learn how to put makeup? How come they're able to learn how to put eyelashes, how to contour, how to look like Kim Kardashian, how to put butt pads and weave on your head? How come they know how to go and buy a push-up bra to make their breasts look bigger? How come they know how to glue their hair? How can they know how to do extensions? But you will not take the time to learn about relationships and your body? There's a problem with that. So yeah, it's definitely their fault.
Yes, so that goes back into my point of view of them never being taught it. If you're not taught this, you're not going to really want to go out and explore. And it goes back into me asking you, why do you sit on your platform and bash them rather than trying to help them? That goes back to that. You are part of the problem. That's
I
when I
can't
say that.
help them.
You
Listen,
are on
Hope,
social
Hope,
media and
Hope,
you,
I
like you
can't
said, you're
help
a
them.
content
Hope,
creator and you're
Hope, I
spewing
can't
out
help them.
hate
Hope,
rather
Hope,
than
Hope,
helping
Hope,
them. So
Hope,
you
I
are
can't
part of
help
the
them.
problem
I'm not
because
part of the problem. So let me tell you
and
why. Hope, let me
okay.
tell you why I can't help them. Like I told you before I was even a thought in this society, in this world, in this existence, they have told women for years, marry before you carry. We are in 2026. Goodness me, okay? If you're telling me little old remnant princess is failing women in 2026, we're doomed. I can't do nothing. Okay, there's been countless of women, countless of even revolutionists, countless of people that have said the same thing nicely, provocatively, have taught. How do you think SMEX education came about? How do you think contraception came about? How do you think unaliving unborn babies? Why do you think that exists? That all happened so women could have the choice and make better choices in their lives. So if you
Mm-hmm.
really think that I'm going to somehow help a bunch of community boxes, that I'm not being funny, you're delusional. There's actually nothing I can do because
Okay,
none of
so
these females are going to learn. I'm here
so
to debate illogical mindsets because we are past logic. Now we got to understand, well, why are they so illogical? We are past teaching. It's past that.
so
It's 2026. You need to wake up
okay.
and smell the coffee.
Right. So basically your entire platform is to rage bait. It's to make people feel less than about their choices and to basically say you're not good enough, you'll never be good enough. I don't have no reason to sit here and try to help you be good enough. Is that what you basically do?
I'm here to debate illogical mindsets. I'm here to
Right.
understand. I'm here to understand, why do you think the way you do? Why do you think being promiscuous is going to help you? Why do you think
Right.
making
So with
terrible,
no
hold on. Why do you think that making terrible choices is going to result in good choices? Why are you not ashamed of other women doing this? I'm here to understand this mindset, but I'm incapable. It's out of my hands to stop women opening their legs. I can't do that. There's nothing
right.
I'm going to say, and there's nothing I'm going to do that's going to change a bunch of baby mamas spreading their legs open.
But you were just the one who was saying how we can use the internet to do better for research to look these things up, but then you
Yes,
won't be
that's what
part
they're
of those
supposed to do. No,
solutions.
that's not my
But you don't
responsibility,
want to
though.
be part of the,
No,
but you
no,
want
that's
to
not
sit
my
there and bash
responsibility.
them
I said
though.
it's their responsibility.
Right,
It's
but you
their
would rather, so you would
responsibility.
rather use your platform to
Yes,
bash
I
women
would
rather
rather
than help
shame
them.
them. Yes, I would
Okay.
rather shame
Okay.
degenerates for a fact because
Right.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna
I just
be. Let
wanted
me
you to
tell you,
admit
I'm
that.
not.
That's all
Yeah,
I wanted to you
of
to
course
say.
I am. I'm not
You're here
going
for
to.
rage
It's
bait
not
and to
my. It's
shame
not my
women because you're
responsibility. It's
unhappy
not.
with yourself. Because anybody who takes
That's your
time out of their
logic.
day
That's your
and their life
logic.
to shame and bash people, you can't be happy with yourself.
Yeah, that's
That's
what you
just not
think.
logical.
Yeah,
That's
that's
just
what you
not
think.
logical. No
It's not.
person who is
Let me.
happy with themselves is going to shame other people for their life. You
Okay,
must
okay.
really
You think
dislike
I'm
your
okay?
life.
Hope. You think I'm unhappy? Get over. You've been saying the
You
same thing over and
are,
over
you
again. All
are,
right then.
because
All
you
right.
look what you use your voice
Hope.
for. You have a voice. You say you're a married woman, you have your child, you have your family, you have the good life, but you use your voice to bash and shame women, and that's what
Yes,
you
because
just
they
said out
do
of your mouth.
shameful things.
That's
Yes, because
terrible.
they
That's
do
not a good
shameful
thing.
things. I'm not
No,
going to.
because you hate
Hope.
yourself, honey, and you
Don't
want
use
them
that
to hate
word.
themselves.
Okay, listen, the reality is I am not going to reward shameful behavior. That's what you
No
want
one
me
is
to do.
saying
No,
no,
that's
I'm
what you
not
want.
saying
Hold on,
rewarded.
hope.
I
Hold on,
said
hope.
you can help
Hold on,
them with
hope. No,
your
I
platform
can't.
rather than
I
shaming
can't.
them.
If you
Yes,
hold on,
you
I
can,
can't. Let me
honey.
tell you something. Let me tell you something, Hope. If I'm saying it is dumb to spread your legs open and get your cheeks clapped by a man that's not your husband, if you are not going to hear that and think, damn, I don't want to be that stupid, then I can't help you. Like, honestly,
No.
hold on, Hope. Really think about what I'm saying. Because a lot of you females get triggered, but you're not hearing what I'm saying. I'm saying it is stupid to open your legs to a man that is not committed to you. If the man is not your husband, don't open your legs. Prioritize on traditional values. Listen, if you cannot be able to receive that message, then there's nothing I can do. I don't
Right.
know what you
And
want me to do, but if that's not received, then it's out of my hands.
yes, and I'm not saying, I'm not in denial of being committed before you open your legs. I want you to know that. I'm not in denial of that. What I am saying is for these women who have, right? Your post is about single moms. They've already done it. Why can they not get a sense of I guess I don't even want to say grace necessarily, right? But why do you have to shame them rather than help them is what I'm asking. Why use your platform to hurt them even
So
more than they've already
the
hurt
only
themselves
way,
and their kids
because every
rather than
solution,
help them
Hope, let
be
me tell you
better?
something. Let me tell you something. Every solution I give these females, they don't like it. Now that's one. Okay, you're not the only one that's asked me this question. When a lot of these females or single moms kind of come and ask, well, what should we do? I say, go back to your baby dad. What do you think they say when I say that?
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you really think you're the only person that's come here and told me this? They told me, well, what's the solution in the future? Submit to your man. Submit to be okay, man. What do you think they say to that?
I don't know. What do they say?
Yeah, they say, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to submit. We're not going to submit to be okay, man. Go back to your baby dad. I'm not going back to my baby dad. The
Now, the going
Lord is
back
the
to your
one,
baby dad.
the Lord is the one, the Lord is the one that took me out. The Lord is the one that helped me. Like, I don't think you actually understand that it's out of my hand. And I'm not Jesus Christ to be helping anyone. That's one. But two, any advice that I do give these Fefails, they don't want to receive it. It's very simple. When I tell them stop dating, don't date until the child's 18. What do you think they say?
Oh, what do they say?
Oh, it's too long. Why do I have to wait all that long? Why do I have to stop dating? No, I deserve to date.
Okay.
I say
Okay,
wait until the
so
child's 18. So every solution I actually do give them, they oppose it every single time.
okay, so then that goes into my next question of why can't you just make a positive platform to women who you believe should hold traditional values and just speak on those traditional values and how you got your man, kept your man, whatever you want to talk about, and how they can get one and keep one rather than bashing women that you see have no real future for finding a man and being in a committed relationship.
Because there's more degenerates than there is actually traditional women. For example, right, and a lot of people don't like to see people as a collective, but we are. Women are collective. Be okay, women are collective. You all get clumped into one group because of what the majority do. It doesn't matter how you want to see it. It doesn't matter how much you want to think you're an individual. You are going to be clumped in a group. If majority of women are materialistic, they're going to see you as materialistic, even if you're not. If majority of women are single moms, they're going to see you as a single mom, even if majority are not. If you are a BOK woman who most of the times have the lowest marriage rate and the highest single mom rate, they're going to see you that way. So there's no point me talking about the minority that doesn't represent womanhood and doesn't represent BOK women either. So majority of these Fefails are who is representing womanhood, is who is representing femininity, which is not femininity in my eyes. And that's why.
Okay. I don't have any more questions.
Okay, then. So I will respond to you. I'm just going to quickly acknowledge super chats. Thank you, Eric Jordan. Fefail, you are because you defend failure. Fefail. Yeah, a lot of them do defend failure all the time. Eric Jordan, thank you again. Sent $2 Funk, no shaming to be back and running. Fefail. Facts on facts. I guess Hope had nothing else to say. She used to say, it's funny because she's been in my comments for a while. And she said a lot about, oh, you're this, you're that. And then when I told her what the solution is, what did she say? What did you say? I gave you the solutions. I told you single moms should go back to their baby dads. I told you women should submit to their men. BOK women should submit to BOK men. That's the solution. None of you Fefails want the solution. That's the point. None of you Fefails want to be submissive. That's the point. None of you Fefails want to keep your legs closed. That's the point. Now I have no more questions to ask. Of course you don't. Because you realized that they don't want it to be solved. See, it dawned in that moment, oh, yeah, they don't actually want to solve the problem. They actually want to be degenerate. Because going back with your baby dad actually solves 80% of the problem. If these single moms just went back to their baby dads, you know it would solve about 80% of the problems we see. You know, a lot of these sons won't be criminals, won't be angry, won't be violent because they actually have a father at home. A lot of these young girls won't be promiscuous, won't end up being teenage pregnancies, won't be in the streets. If they just went back to their baby dad. No, what dawned in a moment is your platform is made to shame. You said so, no reason to debate it. No, just be honest, Hope. You had nowhere to go because I gave you the solutions and you didn't respond to those solutions. That's what's crazy, is you told me, what are the solutions? What have you told to help single moms? I told you what I told them and you didn't respond. You just said, okay, no more questions. So when I told you they should go back to their baby dads, you laughed. You know, Hope, you didn't even respond to what I said. You laughed. You thought it was funny that a single mom should go back to her baby dad. Why is that funny? Don't you think that child deserves for their mother and father to be together?
Okay, so I'll tell you why I laughed, because the reality is the reason I laughed is because I already knew what your answer was going to be to what I say. You don't do extremes. You don't want to talk about that. You're talking about the women who don't have real problems in their relationships, not the ones who go through DV, who go through all these ABs and stuff like that. You don't like talking about those things, so it wasn't no point in me bringing them up. But a lot of those women, especially women who come from poverty, who are single moms, have dealt with some form of DV. They've dealt with some
No,
form of
but
AB.
they're not answering the question. You're going
Yes, I am.
no, you're not, because what about the ones? Because that's not the majority. Majority of women that go through DV who are victims is like 20 and 30% of society. Okay, only about 20 and 30% of society actually. Pardon? 23.5. 23.5 exact. Only
No, you
have
can't talk about the entire society when we're talking about black women. What percentage
say
of those
be
are
okay.
black women and
Hold
are
on, say
oh,
be okay, say be
BLK?
okay.
What
Hold on.
percentage are
So hold
BLK
on.
and
This is
go?
hold on. It's not even the majority. That's what you're not hearing. Doesn't matter whether they're YT or BLK. It's
It
not over
does if we're
30. Hold on, Hope. It's not over 30%. Okay? If it was over 30%, trust and believe it would actually be all over the internet. Okay? We would not stop hearing about it from BOK Fefails. Okay? Trust and believe. If that was a fact, we wouldn't stop hearing about it. Okay? If that was a fact, you will be pulling up that source right now. That's the truth. You'll pull it up and say, listen, it's about 50% of these single moms that have been victims. You would not let that slide. It would be so evident in this conversation, it wouldn't even be a conversation. So for a fact, it's not over 30%. So like I said, why is it that majority of single moms who are not victims, why don't they go back to their baby dads?
Because why does someone have to be with someone that they have nothing, like no interest in other than a child? Like, that's the reality. You guys are trying to force women to be with people they don't belong with. Like, you're forcing that just because they have a child. Okay, they made the mistake. They had the child, but that does not mean they have to be with that person. That's not what that means.
You
Like
see?
that's like me telling you, like, oh, your husband did this, or you did this. You and your husband don't belong together, but you guys decide to stay together simply because you have a child. That's dumb. Who's
No, it's
staying
not
with a
dumb.
person simply? Yes, it is. You
It's
live
not
in
actually. It protects the child.
how?
It actually protects the child. The child is, hold on. The child is like 71% less likely to be maltreated, 62% less likely to be neglected. The child is 59% less likely to have serious physical injury. Do you know the rate of children being AB'd in a single mom home is 21%? This is triple the rate of those in two-parent homes at 8%. So the reality is, it actually protects the child. Do you know that, don't use this word, but just so you understand what I'm saying, predators are more likely to target single moms because there's no man. And how a lot of these predators function is they will watch and see, does the child have a father who's around? They watch them in their local neighborhood. That's how a lot of these young boys get into gangs, get into smug dealing. They groom them when they're young. So
Right. And
if a father was there, that would prevent all of that. The reality is when you have a child, it's about sacrifice. It's no longer about you. And if you're not willing to sacrifice for the betterment of that child, then you are the problem.
right. So my thing is, I get what you're saying and I get your numbers and everything. My thing is, these people though who have these really great two-parent households, they aren't forcing, they are choosing to be with their husbands or their wives. They're choosing that dynamic. So that choice makes it better because they love where they are. But if you are in a dynamic simply because of your child and nothing else, you don't want to be there, you don't care about it, you're still going to be a person who eventually mistreats that woman and that child. You have to want to be in the place that you are in order for you to be able to give it your all fully as you should as a husband or a wife. Does that make sense? Like, for
Yeah,
example, I
it
don't
does
think.
make sense. But this is it though, Hope. Anything good in life is not easy to have. And I think the reality is the people that choose their husbands, it's not always easy. There are going to be days they don't want to choose their husbands. There are going to be days they're angry with their husbands, but they chose it. See, a lot of you females think, well, happy marriages was always happy. Happy marriages always started like that and ends like that. Anything good in life takes time. Anything good in life takes hard work. Anything good in life takes sacrifice. If you don't want to sacrifice for the betterment of that human being that didn't ask to be in this world, then maybe you should never had them.
Exactly. And then that goes into my next point about how you guys are so against them getting these ABs because then you're like, well, you should just close your legs. It's always you should have did this, you should have did that, you should have did that. But the reality is they didn't. Okay. So we have to work with where we are now and bashing them simply because of what they did not know or where they were in their past is not going to help them. Shaming them is not going to help them. That's
Well,
all
I
I'm
gave the
saying.
solution. Yeah, like I said, I gave the solutions and you still didn't like it. You
Because
simply
it's
said,
not.
hey, hold on, Hope. You simply said it is stupid to stay with the child's father. And that's
That's
it. And,
not
and
what
this
I
is,
said.
you did. You said it's stupid if they have no more connections, if they don't love each other anymore. It's stupid to stay with the child's father. It's dumb. That's your logic. And this is why I
Because that's
said,
just as hurtful as if it's not, like you said, it's not a
no,
hundred
it's not as
percent.
hurtful. It's
Yes,
not
it
as
is because
hurtful. No, it's not.
listen to your stats. It's not 100%, honey. Like it doesn't say you are 100% going to have a better child if you stay with your husband and your wife. There is still a percentage of those people who are still getting hurt, who are getting maltreated and everything because those people don't want to be there.
Okay, then,
Those are people who
Herb,
don't want to be
yes,
there.
but that's not the majority. If majority, hold on, let's really think about it. If majority are going to come out to be healthier citizens, isn't that worth it? If you know that there's a 71%, an 85% chance your child is going to come out healthier, your child is less likely going to be incarcerated, your child is more likely going to be safe. Even 71% of children from fatherless homes drop out of high school. They are 71% have a higher likelihood of finishing high school. Don't you think that's worth it?
I think you're still missing my point when I say the people who are getting these, who are achieving these things, are people who want to be in their relationships and want their children and want their family. If you do not want it, you're not going to produce that 71%. You're not going to produce it because you don't care. It doesn't matter if you're married or not. You don't care, so you're not going to produce that. That's what I'm saying. So
No,
to
no,
me,
you are
no,
going to
it's not
produce
worth
it.
it.
You are going to produce it, Hope,
Okay.
because people, people make these choices. You see, this is what you don't understand. It's a choice. People can choose to look outside of themselves and make selfless choice. It doesn't matter how bitter, it doesn't matter how much you don't like it. People can still choose. I'm sure there's people you dislike, but do you choose to go and rob their house? No, you don't. If you dislike this person, but do you go choose to punch them in the face? No, you made a choice. I'm going to be the bigger person and I dislike them. I'm not going to fight them. I'm not going to rob their house. I'm going to be a better person. So why can't they choose that in these relationships? And one more thing, I want to give a big shout out to Most Loved. Thank you for joining. It's been a while. It's good to see you. And Divine Beauty, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been a minute. My favorite people on TikTok. Okay, so Hope. That's my point. Why can't they choose to be mature? Because I'm sure when it comes to people they dislike, they can do a lot of things, but they don't. So why don't you choose to do better for the sake of your children?
Again, I think it's getting, I don't know where it's being missed, but I guess I get your point of what you're saying. Like you're basically saying to put like their mm, I get your point of what you're saying. I'll say that. However, I still think that I don't personally believe staying in a house with a person is necessarily the best for a child simply because you feel like this is there's this 71% chance that you'll have it better. I don't believe that. I still believe at the end of the day, a person is going to do what they want to do regardless of if you're married or not, and they're going to treat you how they want to treat you regardless. And that's why it's not at 100%. And you're still going to bank on some type of mistreatment in that relationship. And why would you do
Nothing
that
in
when you
life
can
is
just
100% Hope. Nothing
okay?
in life is 100%. That's just the truth. This is common. This is like common sense. Nothing in life is 100%. People gamble. Every day you wake up and leave your house, it's not 100% that you won't get robbed, that someone ain't probably going to, I'm not saying I wish that on you, but I'm saying is nothing in life is 100%. So when you have children, if there's a higher chance that they are going to come out to be better, that should be worth the risk. That's why sacrifice is there. You sacrifice because it's worth them not being at a disadvantage. If single moms are not willing to do this, that's the bigger issue. It doesn't matter what solution they do. It seems like if they're not happy, then everything has to stop.
Okay, I see your point of view. I'm glad you got to explain that more rather than just sit here and bash them. Like you actually had a like conversation about it. And I do see your point of view as to why you think that way. And I don't think that your point of view is a wrong way of thinking either. What was your other reasoning, like your other solution?
My other solution was for, in particular, BOK women to submit to BOK men. That's my other solution. It kind of goes hand in hand with go back with your baby dad. But also, if you submit to a BOK man, then a lot of these problems wouldn't even be in your reality because a lot of the men that, for example, majority of men are not fathers. There's only a small percent of men who are actually fathers. So are you really submitting to the BOK men that you think you are, or are you giving yourself to the worst type of men that you're just interested in? Majority of BOK men don't have children. So clearly they're living up to a standard that a lot of these single moms are not. So by listening to men that are actually living up to a certain standard, by being submissive, then maybe things in your community can change because then you allow a man to change it. But they don't do that. They say, I'm going to be independent. I'm going to do my own thing. And then when that small percent of man pumps and dump, now it's all men. But you didn't do what majority of men did.
Yep. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly read out the super chats and then I'm going to introduce the next panelist and then we can go back to open panel. Thank you,
Okay.
Eric Jordan. Fefails dislike solutions that don't agree with them. Facts on facts. Solutions they don't want to hear. They just want to hear what they want to hear. That's their solution. What makes me happy? 3 a.m. Fort Club sent $5. Thank you. Just supporting the channel. Thanks for the content. I appreciate you. Wayne Lundy Jr. sent $20. Thank you. I've been listening to your call. Keep speaking truth. Exposure is necessary for growth. Keep shining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Eric Jordan sent $2. Fefail, you know what the F you doing, so excuses your own grown bish. Yeah. They have excuses for every degeneracy, but no excuses for what the baby dad did. But anyways, I'm going to introduce Gabrielle and then we can go back to open panel. Welcome, Gabrielle. Can you please address the prompt?
Hello. I was actually invited up, so that's why I'm up here. I was invited up.
Okay, so do you want to address the prompt? How do you feel? What's the next step?
I agree with you on it. I mean, I'm a single mom, right? So dating game tends to get a little harder afterwards, but why? It's because A, I have kids. B, I am no longer a part of that newer market, if you want to call it like that. So I agree with the prompt. Even though I'm part of it, I agree with it.
Okay, it's open panel. Well, at least you're honest. A lot of single moms, I think the reason why they're in a really bad state as well is because they don't want to admit that they are the least desired.
Agreed.
I think it's important to actually see, well, this is where I'm at in life for anything to actually progress for those children. Because that's what's important. It's no longer what the single mom's doing, because the only thing that's going to happen is her getting her cheeks clapped.
Exactly. I agree with it. I mean, I'm no longer interested, at least this is in my case, right? I'm no longer interested in like finding a man who is going to be for my kids. They've got a dad. They got their dad. The fact that I'm no longer with the dad has nothing to do with it anymore. But now my focus is going to be on my kids, not going to be with another guy. Because then I'm forgetting about my kids at the end of the day, which is not what has to happen. My priorities are my kids now. So it is what it is. Like I said, I agree with the prompt because it's true. Does it hurt? A little bit. But it's in the same time, truth is going to hurt. And for the women out there who
So,
are saying like, oh, that's rude and all that, it's the truth. You put yourself in that market and I'll deal with it.
so Hope, we have a single mom who is taking accountability to some extent and saying, yeah, they are the least desired. How come she's not unhappy with her life? How come she is not miserable? How come she's not all these negative things? Do you think she's delusional to believe that?
Are you unhappy with your life, Miss Ma'am?
No, I'm not. I'm perfectly happy. I mean, I'm living my life. I'm raising my kids. I'm doing what I got to do first. Later on in life, if I just, when my kids are grown, I want to start that, maybe I will. But right now, why am I going to put myself on the market?
Do you want to be on the market or do you not want to be on the market?
Personally, I don't.
Okay, well then that's why she's not, unhappy and stuff. She doesn't care because she's not out here looking for her man.
Well,
So she doesn't
majority
care if she's
this
least desired if she's not looking for one.
no, it's not. Is no, that's not true. You are always going to be the least desired once you're a single mom. Doesn't matter if you're looking or not. That does not change anything. The
It
first
does
thing she
because she
said is
wouldn't.
no. The first thing she said is the dating market is already hard because she has children.
Mhm. But she's not in it. She doesn't want to date. She also said that. So to her
Yeah.
being able to say, "Yeah, I did know when I was dating that I was least desired, but I don't even care to date because I'm taking care of my children." This
Well, think
saying that
about it
she's
like
least
this.
desired doesn't affect her.
Well, no,
It
think
But she
about it
doesn't
like
still
do
this.
anything
is.
for her.
But
If
she's
I'm
still.
going to
But
be with
hope.
another
She
man,
still is. She still is the least desired though.
if I'm going to be
It
with
doesn't. It
another
doesn't
guy, let's
change that
say
she wants it or not. Go ahead.
exactly. I like if I look for another guy, let's say that they have to accept my children. A man who wants to continue living his life who doesn't have kids is not going to be, oh, these kids are not my priority. No, they're going to want to live their life. They're going to want to go probably travel the world, do whatever the hell they want. They don't want the responsibility of another person's child, which I understand. So I'm not going to put myself out there knowing that the first thing they could probably do, not all men do this, but a few are like, I don't want to be with someone who has kids. It has nothing to do with the fact of the kids. It's the fact that they want to keep living their life. They probably want to start their own family, right? Not have to raise sometimes step kids and then have their own kids. Because then what? Let's say I have a kid with another man. My kids that I had before, he's going to be like, no, I have my own kid to take care of. Why am I going to take care of someone else's kid? So I don't put myself in that situation.
Right. So that goes back into what I said. So because you don't date and you don't, like you said, put yourself in that situation, you considering yourself the least desired doesn't matter. You don't care about what these men say because you're not dating them. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that if you want to consider yourself least desired, who am I to tell you you are not, right? That's what you're saying out your own mouth. So I'm not saying you're not the least desired. I'm saying it doesn't affect you because you are not out here dating. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because that's what she's supposed to do. A lot of these, if when you have a child, you're not supposed to be dating. That's one. That's another solution. I said, don't date. Stop dating. Stop opening your legs. If they're 18 and you want to be in the streets, that's different. But until then, why are you looking for a man when you clearly have children to look after? So if you're not going to go back to your baby dad, don't be looking for another man.
Right. So these women can't be single. They can't find a man to come in to help them with the children. And they can't have a man come in and help with them with the children. So the only choice they have is be single or go be with your baby dad. Those are their only two choices.
Yes, because those are the best choices. Yeah. Realistically speaking, do you think majority of men that they are going to date is going to marry them?
No, of course not. Majority of
Oh, right
men.
then. So how useless is that? How useless is it to date and have intercourse? How useless is it to open your legs to how many men that won't even marry you?
Okay, I had already said that I agree with you on the part that I don't think people should be opening their legs to just anybody. I agree with that part. So I'm not focused on the intercourse, but these women who are trying to find a stable two-parent household for their children, you're saying that they shouldn't find that to help them at
No,
least
they
get
shouldn't.
away from this statistic and lower it?
It's too late. You can't lower it without the actual biological father, because every stat that talks about stepfathers goes against it. There's actually no evidence that stepfathers are beneficial to the child. And I had this conversation a few times with somebody else about it. And it stated very clearly, stepfathers are not beneficial to the single mom's children, not emotionally, not behaviorally, and not academically. The only thing that maybe might improve is economically. But then that's not the most important when the rest is declining. And then when you take a look at the worst stats, as I said before, they're 100 times more likely to unalive their pitney by beating them. That's crazy, I'll be honest with you, compared to a biological father. So this happy two-parent household, no, they're actually more likely to be AB'd by another man, which still makes sense because it's not their child. So you waste all that time, even if you're not getting your cheeks clapped, you are using that time that you have for your child for a man that's either going to mistreat your children or not marry you.
Yeah, okay, I get what you guys are saying. I don't have anything to say to that.
And this is it, is that a lot of females think, well, once you have a child, then you should be able to do whatever you want. But that's not how society works. When you have a child, that's a huge responsibility. They didn't choose to be in this world, okay? Those are probably the most vulnerable people in society. How could you think that you could just say, hey, I'm going to do whatever I want, when you just brought a vulnerable human being in the world? And this is why I say single moms are the least desired, because they don't care. They don't care to make the right choices. Anyone has a response to that?
No, I'm actually about to drop because I have to do some homework. But I just wanted to say, now that I'm actually hearing you and not just like the little shaming and bashing, I actually hear your point of view. I do agree with it more than I disagree with it. I'll say that. Like, I agree more than I disagree with what you're saying. But yeah.
Okay, just cause I'm intrigued, quickly tell me where is it that you disagree with?
I'm still on the part where they should go back to their baby dad. I still don't 100% agree with that, but I do see your reasoning why, and I do like follow with it. Like, I understand why you would say that. I do understand that. I still just would not agree people should go back anywhere that they left from. Like, I don't, yeah. But outside of that, like, I understand why you're saying it though, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that to me is probably the biggest problem with a lot of these single moms. I get it. Fefails don't want to go back to the man that they don't want. But when there's a child involved, this is why I call them selfish. Because you're making choices for yourself, not for that child, and not what the child wants. The child wants mom and dad, not single mom.
Yeah, I get it. All right. But yeah, thank you so much for having me up.
Okay, well, thank you for coming up. You know, you were triggered in the comments. At least you didn't crash out. So thank you anyways. Gabriella, do you have anything you want to say?
No, honestly, I've been in agreement with you for a very long time. Um, I was one of those fellows that were, against it and all that, but after hearing you live after live, I'm like, you know what, you have a very good point. And that's why I stopped what I stopped.
Okay, yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, a lot of females get triggered, and this is why people say they're more emotional than logical. Because if you don't take the time to actually understand, then that's the issue. That's the issue that everyone is talking about.
Exactly.
So
Like I was taking it more as an insult, but that was because I didn't personally want to hear it. I didn't want to accept it. After realistically accepting it and being like, you know what? It is what it is. I am a single mom. I worked on myself. I worked with the father, and now we're perfectly good co-parents, and we're focusing on what we need to do with our kids. Us getting back together, probably not. But at least I can say that we're happy enough where we can be in the same room and be there for our kids and put our differences aside.
yeah, no, that's why I say if you are not going to get back with the child's father, then don't be dating, because then it's no longer benefiting the child anymore. It's no longer about the child. It's about what she wants to do. So
Yeah.
I understand when they get to that logic. You know what? I'm just not gonna date. Okay, I get that logic, but to say I'm looking for a man, that doesn't make sense to me. But I'm just gonna quickly acknowledge the super chat.
Yep. No, I'm going to actually get off, but I'm going to keep listening in the comments.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the support. Okay then, so we got a dragonfly set $4.99 US. Thank you. It's always someone else's fault that they make poor choices. He got me pregnant. Yeah, they chose for him to impregnate her. See, a lot of females, they don't really actually comprehend what it means to hold the keys to smecks. Without you saying yes, he was never going to pump and dump a baby inside you. Okay? That was never going to happen. Thank you, Eric Jordan sent $5 US. Single mom that can hold themselves accountable can find a man that will take her serious. It's so rare to find a single mom that understands reality. Yes, I agree with that. It is rare to actually hear a single mom actually speak sense. You don't really get that. You get that in a blue moon where they say, you know what, I agree. Yes, it's actually gentlemental to the children. Yes, I chose to not do this. I chose to understand. You don't get that. That is rare. And a lot of these single moms never actually want to be in that place where they admit, you know what, I am the least desired, and this is what I'm going to do about it. They're too emotional and too reckless to do that. So facts. Eugene still sent $10 US. Thank you. A single mother who cares about their children is able to balance dating with raising their child. If you're a single mom, one of the things men should look at is how do you treat your child? Oh. I mean, thank you. Slightly disagree. Well, thank you. I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. You know, men are going to look at that. But as I say, 18 and plus, because all that time goes to the child. It shouldn't go to any other man. If it's not the biological father, no man should ever take that time from you and that child. But facts anyways, I get what you're saying. Thank you, Eugene. I appreciate the support. Dark Lake sent $20. Thank you. I think it's important to point out that when we say least desired, we're talking about the dating market, not inherent human value. Also, there was always a time when a single mom wasn't one and single men saw their choices. That's interesting. Yes, that's true. That is very true. There was a time where there wasn't one. There was a time where you could be able to make better choices and just chose not to. And I think that's really the biggest part is what happened and why did it happen? And then when you unpack the why, it leaves you in a place where nothing about your reality and your mindset is desired. The things that you did and why you did it is not desired. How the relationship ended is not desired. If she's a widow, we understand. You actually did what you were supposed to do. Married until unaliving do you apart. A victim, what do we say about that? But if that's none of your case, and if your husband didn't run out the marriage, then why was this a choice that you made? And a lot of single moms don't actually want to accept that reality. They don't. Because it begins to now show them who they are. Yeah, a lot of single moms don't want to be seen for who they are. A lot of single moms don't actually want to have their bad choices air out. They all want to be seen as I'm the best mother, the best person, and every choice that I made was for my child. No, it wasn't. Because if it was for your child, then you would be acting differently and you will be functioning differently. But they don't. They don't function differently. They don't want to function differently. What they want is for things to go their way. That's why the whole idea of fixing your relationships and doing things that you don't want to do. See, when I give these Fefails solutions, they don't like it because it goes against what they want. When you go against what they want, now you're the problem. Now you are victim shaming. Now you're bashing. Now you're doing A, B, and C. But even majority of these Fefails won't even look at it any other way. They don't want to look at it any other way. That's why single moms are the least desired, because you are selfish. Clearly, you are selfish. You don't want to look at any other reason other than what you want to do with your nyash. That's the only thing these Fefails care about, is what they do with their nyash. And somehow you think you're going to be on top of the hierarchy when it comes to the dating market, when it comes to being seen as a wife, when it comes to being seen as feminine. You're the most selfish person right now. There's no one more selfish than a single mom. There is no one more selfish than a single mom. Because she will always choose herself, not those pitneys. She will always choose what she wants, not for those pitneys. A lot of times the men, even the small percent that do get married, do you think their children likes the stepdad? Do you think children look forward to another man being their father? And a lot of single moms want to act like they do. Oh, my child loves the stepdad. No, he doesn't. He was forced to. You forced your own child to accept another man to be their father. It was forced. Because you wanted to have a permanent cheek clapper. You wanted to have permanent pillow buddy. A good 80% of those pitneys didn't want another man being their father. They wanted their father to be their father. But single moms don't care about what the pitney wants. They care about what their nyash wants. That's what they care about. Because if you really ask the child, what do you want? I want mom and dad to get along. I want mom and dad to stop arguing. I want mom and dad to be together. And you know damn well these single moms are going to say no. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. So when I say single moms are the most selfish, we see it with their actions. We hear it with what they say. They don't do nothing that actually is conducive for those pitneys. We see it in society. And when it comes to the dating market, why would a man want to be involved in that? Why would a man want to be involved with a female who clearly doesn't prioritize any type of standard? Single moms have never prioritized their standards when it came to being traditional. But now they want some traditional standards. Now they're looking for a traditional man. You didn't think about being a traditional woman first. So why are you now looking for a traditional man? After you made a mistake, after you popped out a baby, now you want to talk about what kind of man that you want, who the man should be, and how much money he should make. It's not adding up. It's an insult. You must really believe that majority of men are that stupid. You must honestly believe that majority of men are that thirsty. I mean, they're thirsty enough to clap your cheeks, but not thirsty enough to marry you. There's not enough thirsty men out there that are going to marry a single mom. There's a few, but just not enough. Just not enough for these single moms to find a simp. Even some simps don't want to take care of another man's mistake. Even some simps think it's a bit too much to be cleaning another dirty plate. So majority of single moms are not going to find their Prince Charming. That's not going to happen. A lot of these single moms may never get married. A lot of these single moms may never walk down the aisle. Not even may, they won't. They won't get married. They won't find a husband because there's not enough simps out there that wants that. Men can travel all around the world to find themselves a wife. How many men are going to travel to Western society to find a single mom? How many men are traveling the world to find a single mom to wife? I'm going to go to the UK and get myself a single mom as a wife. Do you not know that flying out to get away from single moms? Do you not know that's the aim, is to get away, not go to? How many are going to these Asian countries to find a single mom? That's not happening. And that's why I say there's not enough simps out there that's going to, they will always have more options than being with single mom. The only ones that choose to be with single moms don't have options. Just don't. You won't find that anywhere. Okay, so there is one person requesting, and it is a man. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Yes. I'm doing fine, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, I heard what you were saying,
Okay.
but I don't think you're correct on that.
Okay, so you disagree with the prompt? Okay, why is that?
Well, it's like single mom. You said single moms are least desired now. Me, I don't think that's the case. I had, let's say, I've got 2 kids, and then we broke up with the missus, and then I was out there having a good time. I was meeting all these single women with no kids, and then for me, what I realized is I didn't want to bring a single woman into instantly becoming a parent like that, a step parent. So I stopped dating single women and then only went after women that had kids because we could always put our baggage together.
Okay then. Well, thank you for sharing. I am looking for female oppositions, but just wanted to
So
hear what you had to say.
it didn't say that in the prompt. I wouldn't have come up if you said that, but I just figured that
Oh,
I'd just share.
it's fine. Don't worry. It happens all the time. So yeah, thank you anyways. So I'm gonna quickly read a super chat. Carl said, "Shalom to you, sister. Yes, welcome. Thank you for the support." Yes, I usually debate women, but I do get a lot of men who also oppose this prompt. So it's always interesting to hear what they say. Sometimes here and there will be a panel and it may be men, and then I'll let the men oppose other men as well. Thank you, Jar Flip. So that's how that works. I mean, you know, when you are a single dad and a single mom, I can't really say anything about that, you know. It would make sense why you would date a single mom. So there's nothing to really argue about that because it makes sense. It's like a single mom saying, well, I'm interested in a single dad. Okay, that makes sense. You're interested in a man that also has children. Do I agree that you should be dating? No, but it would make sense to be with another broken home. You know, and as they say, blend the family. Let's blend the brokenness and glue it together. Even though it's still not gonna actually come together. I mean, if you want things to actually be fixed, you go back to the child's father. But a lot of times they attempt to have another broken random piece with another broken random piece and glue it together and call it a blended family. And I just think it doesn't really always work out, usually. So I am going to be locking off the live. I want to thank every single one of you for joining me. Thank you, everyone on YouTube. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support and always coming through. And everyone on TikTok as well. I also appreciate you. Thank you, Jar Flip. Thank you, Newbie, Derek, and Boy Wonder. And And I also want to give a big shout out to Most Loved and Divine Beauty. Thank you for coming through. It's always good to have you. You know, they're always, when they are here, they're always giving us wisdom, gems, and cooking these Fefails just as much as I am. So it's always good to have them. And thank you, Jest. Thank you, Divine. I see you. So yeah. I appreciate every single one of you. Once again, shout out to Divine Beauty, shout out to Most Love, and thank you, Gabrielle, as well, for coming through and being honest and open about it as well. A lot of single moms wouldn't have done that. So thank you. All right, then. Have a good day. Have a good night. I will be back live on Friday, so definitely keep an eye out. Same time. So yeah, thank you once again. Have a good day and a good night. Bye.